Hey, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Claire, and today I am doing a what I read in the first week of January, the first week of 2025. That's super exciting. So this week I actually was on a bit of a Liane Moriarty kick. So I read, or listened to rather, 3 of her books. So the first book that we'll get into is called Big Little Lies. And this is a book that was from a lot of perspectives. So at the beginning, took me a while to get into it because it was flipping back and forth between different people's insights. It was like a journalist kind of interview, and it was like a sentence from this person, a couple sentences from this person. A little bit overwhelming at the beginning, but once I got past that and got into the story, I really enjoyed it. And essentially, all of her books seem to be based in Australia, and this one was focused on a school. And essentially, one of the parents was unalived, and it was kind of figuring out like what happened. Was it intentional? Was it not intentional? And essentially, most of the book was like going back and forth and getting different perspectives of the police interviews following this incident, combined with kind of the backstory and following 3 women primarily, and that was Madeline, and she was kind of like a very boisterous, outgoing mom at the school. There was also Celeste, and she was just like a very naturally beautiful, seemingly had the perfect relationship, like married to a billionaire, had her stuff all together. And then the 3rd woman was called Jane, and she had essentially moved to the area. She was brand new, single mom, and there was like an incident with the kids at the beginning, and her son was kind of singled out. And so navigating that, being at a new school, in kindergarten, so her son's just starting school, a lot of kind of stuff for them to navigate. And so it was really interesting. It was kind of looking at the backstory and the lives of those 3 women specifically. And then between that, it was kind of like flash forward to the police interviews of the kind of current day stuff that's happening. So I really enjoyed this one. This one I gave 4 stars. Like I said, it took me a little bit to get into it, but once I did, I actually thoroughly enjoyed like the storyline and the twists and all of that. So definitely a great book. This next book is also by Liane Moriarty. All of them are for this week. And this one is called The Husband's Secret. And this one, again, there's a heavy focus on the female protagonists. So this one follows 3 female protagonists, and it's very largely centered around the town where Tess and Cecilia grew up. And then Rachel was a mother to one of like the people that would have gone to school at the same time as them. So the story starts really focused on Tess's story. And she's off, I believe she's living in Melbourne, could be mistaken, and then she comes back to stay with her mom for a bit with her son, and so she's really back in that neighborhood where she grew up. And then Rachel is the one who was a mother to one of the girls that would have gone to school with them, and that girl was unfortunately unalived when she was younger, and there was never really any outcome or solution as to like what actually happened. So it was like an open case, but pretty much a cold case at that point. And then Cecilia was one of the women that was like a mother of kids in the school, you know, kind of like very bubbly, does Tupperware parties, all of that kind of stuff. And so this one is really interesting because there's a couple different storylines going on, which always seems to be the way that Liane's books are. I find like there's a lot going on. It's a lot of different perspectives, kind of very busy stories. But essentially it's following this turmoil in Tessa's life, just with her marriage and things not going well on that front. And then it's following Cecilia as she is navigating kind of being a busy mom to her kids, Tupperware parties, you know, just navigating that like day-to-day life. And then also following Rachel as she is navigating, still dealing with the loss of her daughter, never really having closure, always kind of on the lookout to see what may happen. She has somebody that she thinks it may be, and it's just not clear. There's no evidence, no follow-up really happened. So kind of following all of those stories as it's kind of all coming together and seeing how their lives intersect. So really interesting book. 5 stars for that one. Really enjoyed it. It was my favorite one this week. And then the last one I read was called 9 Perfect Strangers, and I believe this one's on Hulu, and I think Big Little Lies may also be on a streaming service as well. I haven't watched any of the shows. But 9 Perfect Strangers, also by Liane Moriarty. This one is based in a really like luxury level spa, and it's essentially, I believe there must be 9 people there, and they all have come to the spa for different reasons, and it's kind of one of those places you go where you're fasting and you get spa treatments, and it's no electronics, really set diet based on what you personally need, like really personalized custom plan. And then essentially it's also looking at the owner of the spa who came over. I believe she was from Russia or Eastern Europe somewhere, and she came over to Australia. And so it's kind of, as the story is unraveling, you do get a bit of her backstory of why she moved and what happened in her life since she moved. And kind of she went from like this really high-powered executive to owning her own spa. And she has a few things that she's trying with this group that are definitely not sanctioned in terms of treatments that she's offering them. One of the things she does is like, no talking for, I think there's multiple days of no talking when they first arrive, just complete silence. So just a lot of kind of like interesting things on that side. And then it's just following all of these different people. So there's like a couple there that won the lottery, and they're kind of dealing with the aftermath of how that's completely transformed their lives and their relationship. There's a family there. There's a woman who has traveled there by herself that's dealing with kind of some health stuff and just not really going well. She's an author, and she just received kind of her first rejection. She feels like her career is going downhill. And kind of her life's in shambles. And then there's a few other people there as well. So it's just really interesting because it goes from the perspective or the story kind of the spa owner, and then to all of these different individuals. And as the story progresses, you obviously learn more about their background, why they're really there, things that they're trying to overcome. And then it all definitely comes to a head towards the end, and I don't want to kind of give anything away, but it becomes a little bit more intense kind of as they progress through their stay. I believe it's like a 10 to 12 day stay, so it's not like a super long time, but a lot definitely happens after the main introduction. And so that one, I really enjoyed that one as well. That one was 4 stars. So for this week, definitely The Husband's Secret was my favorite, and it was my only 5-star book of the week. But definitely I'm really enjoying Liane Moriarty. Like I said, her books kind of take a little bit to get into when you first start, just because of all of the different perspectives that are usually involved, and like kind of multiple storylines that come together as the story unfolds. But really enjoyed this week's reads. I'm going to have a look and see if there's anything else from her that I want to kind of check out and read. I had some books from her, I believe 1 or 2 on the last video that I did right before this one. So definitely feel free to check that one out. And that is it for this week. So thank you so much for watching. As always, if you did enjoy this video, if you could hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that little notification bell so that you're notified each time that I upload. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful week ahead.